Hello, hello, it's Simone. I have another sketch from Stuck Sketches created by my friend Laura. Here is the sketch and here is the finished layout that I created. So, how did I start? I had this idea that I was going to scrapbook Christmas layouts with the December sketches and the January sketches, so I will be scrapbooking Christmas for a while. And when I saw this triangle on the sketch, I immediately thought of a tree, and that's what I'm going to make. So I chose this. The This page is going to be the companion page to the uh, page that I created for the December first sketch. It's going to be side by side. It is the same Christmas, the same event, everything the same. It's just different photos. And yeah, so I'm not going to have any journaling on this page. And my idea was to cut out the triangle shape, back the paper with green patterned paper. And I have seen, I'm not going to copy Kat Martin, but it was greatly inspired by her. She just did a layout where she cut out an ornament of a patterned paper and then backed it, but she backed it on foam, so she was able to stick in a lot of embellishments. But my idea is a little bit more realistic, maybe, because I'm going to create a tree and decorate it. And I really like this patterned paper. I don't even know what it's from. Is it from Simple Stories or American Crafts, the Sweater Weather collection? But so I backed it with the green pattern paper and I lined up the different pattern. It's a sweater pattern. And now I used my gesso and added the gesso on top. And before I'm going to start getting messy with green watercolor, I am going to start and build the cluster for my photo. So the sketch suggests a really big banner, and I thought that I was going to use the vellum. This is an exclusive vellum that came in the November Cocoa Daisy kit, and I love this vellum. I have used it on, I don't even know if I used it on one of the Cocoa Daisy layouts, but on my Stuck Sketches Christmas layouts, I have used it last time and this time as well. But what I somehow didn't realize, or what just dawns on me right now while building the clusters, is vellum is see-through. And those whole layers that are suggested in the sketch don't work. They don't work for me. They might work for someone else, but I don't like them. So I ripped this paper because I was thinking originally to fussy cut those flowers and use them for my big embellishments. But again, it's gonna get scrapped. That's why I sped this whole process up, because it takes me a long time to realize that for this layout, for the paper layers on this layout, less is definitely more. So this is, again, as I have done in other videos before, I use the dashboards that come in the planner subscription for Cocoa Daisy as scrapbooking paper, and here it really worked absolutely well. So I just used that as the back layer behind the vellum, and then I used the ornament paper that is from the Pink Fresh Studio December Days collection. I know that it is ornament paper and that's why it's so special. It's just a layer behind my photos to make them stand out more, and I really like how defined they are now. I'm going to pull out a punch, a scallop punch that I have never used before. I purchased it at a secondhand sale or it says yard sale, from my local scrapbooking store. And then I just trimmed down the sides of the paper because it just, I didn't really like how far it stood out, and so I just had to trim it down a bit more. This is the scallop, and now I have to clean, and I'm going to stick down the photos on the paper and the vellum because I just need this down and I don't want to fuss with this more. I realized that I need to trim down the vellum a bit more because I want the scallops to show underneath, and it wouldn't have if I had left it that wide. I am looking at this again and I really like what I see, and so I am going to stick this onto the vellum. What am I doing now? Oh yes, again, I sped this up more because I thought, I need more. The sketch suggests more. Maybe this paper will work, but no, it will not. So after I noticed, no, there's not, this is what it's going to be like. I'm going to commit to this and stick it down so that I am not going to mess this up again. I'm not thinking about this more. So yeah, placing the vellum, placing the photos, and then I'm moving the photos and the vellum aside and the pattern paper. And then I'm going to get out my watercolors and start messing this whole thing up. No, I'm not. I really like how this turned out. So I am going to use my green, different shades of green watercolor to smush the colors around, and that's why I created this big cluster before I started smushing. I have learned from the last layout that when you don't know how big the photo embellishment, photo cluster is going to be, you might end up adding more and more after you stuck things down. And so having this before so that I can see if it's enough color really helps. Just a teeny tiny tip for you if you're not a pro like Missy Whitten, if you're a beginner like me and you're not sure if the area that you covered with all the colorful ink is enough, then create the photo cluster that you plan on placing on top beforehand so that you are able to see if it's enough or not. Because actually I thought it was enough like before I started to add all of those things. So this is another dashboard from Coco Daisy, and these are ornaments that I'm going to cut out and that I'm going to place on my Christmas tree later on. And I really liked those stripes, so I am going to cut them down and place them as parts of my layers. Something didn't really work there, so I had to cut stuff down a little bit, and now I show you my workspace and the unfinished layout. And then I thought, because my day changed, my husband needed me to read a paper that he wanted to submit, and I thought, oh yeah, then I just fussy cut all of those elements, and then I read while fussy cutting. Nah, it didn't work. It's like a scientific paper, and I had to proofread it for English, and I had to concentrate so hard. So yeah. But I was able to finish the layout, nevertheless, even though my whole day got mixed up. I never showered that day. And then I am going to place all of the elements that I fuzzy cut on the tree. And I'm just going to treat them as ornaments that I would hang onto a tree, and I'm placing them there. I really like the green ones because they are there, but they are not that, they don't stand out that much. So I'm switching out the green one because there's so many greens on the bottom. And then I found ornaments on the puffy sticker sheet from the Pink Fresh Studio line, and those are going to be the big embellishment clusters. And then I thought that there is a banner suggested in the sketch, and so I decided, well, I'm just going to put those two up there. And then I'm going to use the, what is this? These are chipboard letters from Pink Fresh Studio. They also go with the December Days collection, and I'm not too happy about this chipboard. It it's very thin. The letters came off, and there was only one O, no, one zero in this whole sticker sheet. So you can see that the O's and the zeros are not the same. So I'm just going to swap out the O for another. No, I'm going to swap out the zero for another O. And then instead of just like placing them and thinking about all of that, I'm going to add all the ornaments on my tree, and I'm also going to stick down the photo cluster, and then I am continuing to work on my embellishments, and I really and absolutely like how that turned out. What I didn't show you really, and what I didn't mention, maybe you can see it because your screen is bigger than mine. I actually used pulled out my sewing machine and stitched around the tree with white stitching. I really need to get gold thread because that would have been so cool if I could have added gold stitching to the tree. And also maybe try the Missy Wooden trick and added some thread underneath my photo cluster. That would have been cool too, right? I didn't put up the photos on foam or anything else because my layer, this layer is vellum, but you can see the writing or the chipboard stickers. They don't look really nice because it's not the same height. They look squishy and yeah. I have to think about this a bit more when creating a title because it looks like it's going up and down and up and down. So yeah, if you have any tips for this, please let me know. I still consider myself a beginner. And this is probably stuff that happens only to beginners and not pros, like most of you are. So yeah, I'm going through because I realized that I have a lot of die cuts from the Pinkfresh Studio December Days collection, and I had wanted to use die cuts and also those wooden buttons as embellishments on my tree as well. I didn't only want to use the embellishments or ornaments that I cut out from the dashboard of the Cocoa Daisy dashboard. And yeah, but the wood buttons were a little bit too big, so I decided to just take off the enamel and use it like an enamel dot. And I really like how they add more color and more fun to this whole layout and to this whole tree. It looks like a sparkly tree. And yeah, especially since there was this teeny tiny red button that I used, and it brought that really bold red that I didn't have represented in any of the ornaments to the top of the tree, and I really needed that up there as well. And if you are wondering, no, I am not worried about using different shades of red that seem to be clashing together. For me, this actually enhances or it brings in more. What do you say? How would you say that in English? In German, I know the word, but I don't know it in English. The tension of the layout, it makes it more interesting, more fun to look at, because maybe you are even actually drawn in by the red and think, oh, that doesn't really go. But then you look closer and you see, oh yeah, this red is here and this red is there, and what are the people on the photo doing there? And so that is part of my design decision. Yeah, I'm cool like that. And then I found another one of those ornaments in the die cuts, and I decided, well, that would make a really nice cluster on top. But for some reason, it was really, really hard for me to embellish the bottom of the tree. The top really looks like a tree, but to make the bottom look like a decorated tree, that was hard because there was so much going on already. So there is a banner shape suggested in the sketch. I didn't have a banner shape, but I had this strange scrap of vellum laying around, and I thought, oh, since I'm not following the the suggestions of the sketch, and since I'm always loosely interpreting the sketch, this would really look cool. And I'm just sticking it down and placing the embellishments up there. Another one of those red bells, and then I am fuzzing a long time with all of the different little teeny tiny things. I bring in a green star, but I don't like what it looks like, so I have to play with that a little bit, and then I think this is how I like it best. Yeah, I had to rearrange it a bit, and here is a closer look at my layout. I really, really love how this turned out. I think it's so me. I don't really know what me is, but this is me. We at Stuck Sketches would love for you to play along with us. Don't forget to link it up to the Stuck Sketches blog because you can win some amazing prizes from our sponsors. There is a couple of videos on screen right now. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!